Craig, speaking of an inquiry, how soon should we have a royal commission into all this? And if you could call the terms, what would you say the terms should be?
Well, I think you would need, this is such a big issue, I think you need multiple royal commissions. One of the first things you also need, you need our ACCC, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, to go after and run a case against both Pfizer and Moderna for misleading and deceptive misleading and deceptive conduct in trade or commerce, because that's what they have done. To get those vaccines to that provisional approval level, those studies that they ran were simply misleading and fraudulent. They pulled people out of the studies that had been vaccine injured to hide the true extent of the injuries. They should be being sued for billions of dollars by the ACCC. That is one study that needs to go on. We need to also look at how we're going to ensure freedom of speech in this country, because when this all boils down, the history is written, it'll be the failure to protect freedom of speech is the reason we've ended up in this mess. We need to look at the fiscal disaster, how much money was paid to these big pharmaceutical companies. We know look, the government ordered something like 250 million doses of this stuff.
But before you move off freedom of speech and money changing hands, was any money paid to media companies? That's what I want to know, because they were so conspicuously and overtly in favour of it all. Go on.
Look, this is the greatest failure of the Australian media, and also I think it's the greatest failure of the ABC. The only excuse that you can have for government funding of the ABC is that they're completely independent and they cannot be influenced by commercial concerns. The biggest cheer squad for Big Pharma during this last 2 years has been the ABC. It has been a disgrace, it has been a failure. It shows they've abandoned their charter. There's not one journalist in there, there's not one journalist in the ABC that has even questioned anything from those big pharmaceutical companies. They've just basically read the press releases from the big pharmaceutical companies without a critical eye, without skepticism, and that's what the ABC is there for. So look, on this, I was always saying, give the ABC, there's some justification for them, but after the ABC's conduct during COVID, pull the funding from them, let them go and finance themselves. Well,